everything is changing. Everyone's getting smarter. Technology like RFID and technologies like Viba are forcing, companies to rethink what does an omni-channel strategy look like and what is the next disruptive omni-channel way that customers are going to want to buy. We, by the way, think Viba is that solution. It is the next gen. It's not a text bot on a website. It's not a phone call that you make. It's a live interaction with a live rep that's very experienced, that you can make sure they have all the training they need to make sure they're fulfilling their customers' needs. So.
Hello and welcome to the Intersection of People and Technology podcast, a show where you get to listen in on curious conversations about people and technology and how they come together at retail. I like to say we're about innovations and explanations. I'm Telsey Steralo.
And I'm Chris Green.
And today we have an extremely special guest. I'm really happy to have him here because without him, T-ROC wouldn't be where it is today. And it's the CEO of T-ROC, Brett Beveridge.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here. I don't know that T-ROC would be where it is today without everyone that's on the T-ROC team.
Definitely.
That's for sure.
It's pretty great, Brett, to have you here today. Like Telsey said, thank you. We'd really love to make our podcast very conversational, kind of very natural. We want to let people get to know you as a person, and then obviously talk about people, technology, retail, where it all comes together, and get your thoughts on that.
Sounds fun. Sounds like a lot of fun.
All right, good.
Let's go.
Look, Telsey, Brett and I know each other for quite some time now, so we
take
may poke some fun here and there. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
I'll grab the popcorn.
Just don't laugh at what he says. Only laugh at what I
It's
say.
only funny if he says it. That's true. So yeah, Brett, really, we would love to hear about you and your story, right? Why retail? Why T-ROC? Why technology and people? Why are you so passionate about those things? Where did it come from?
Yeah, since college, I was involved in wireless retail, kind of when wireless was just getting started back in the super late 80s and early 90s. And I was going to college working in the health club industry, selling memberships to people during the day and going to school at night. Hooked up with a college classmate that also seemed to need a job and was really good at sales. So I brought him on board, and together we kind of rode the ranks of the sales driver, sales performance folks over at that health club. From there, he left to go work with a company called Cellular One, which was kind of the first wireless provider to enter the Miami market. And we said, you know what, this is going to be a wild ride. This is going to be a lot of fun. Everyone's going to have a cell phone one day. You could see it coming. Penetration was super low at the time. And we said, why don't we join our limited resources and make this thing happen? So we went to the dealership, we bought a van, and we financed this van for more than it was worth. And then we customized the van with that extra money and put a cool ambulance top on it. And we had a big name, because the bigger your name was, the bigger your company was back then. So our company name was Celco Cellular, a division of Cellular Communications Network, Inc. And our slogan was, we're mobile because you are. We're mobile because we didn't have an office. That was our office. So we would literally drive around the parking lots of shopping centers and banks and anywhere where there was traffic, home shows, boat shows. We'd bring our customized van out there, open the door, and you would have cool brochures and demonstration phones, and we'd put a table out. Probably what you'd call pop-up retail today. We were doing in late 89, early 1990, and we just started engaging with customers and started talking to people, and people were intrigued by wireless phones, so we got off to a really strong start. We didn't have any money, so we would collect the check from them. We would go cash their check, then we'd go to the local distributor, buy the phone with their money, activate the phone, and then deliver it back to their home or office later that day. So,
wow.
And everyone seems to enjoy the numbering system we had. So again, we wanted to look and sound really big. So we had a numbering system where every week we would change the number on this one van. One week it would be 121, the next week it might be 157. And so we had this appearance of kind of fake it till you make it.
Like a fleet.
Yeah. And we did that, and we got a lot of traction, and we started growing that business, and eventually became the largest independent wireless retailer in the country with over 300 stores in 34 states and Puerto Rico, over 1,000 employees, and a big paging division, and took that company public before selling it to Nextel Communications, which was one of our largest vendors. So it was a bootstrap beginning. It was super humble. hoping that they don't turn your electricity off this week, doing your grocery shopping at the gas station because that's the only credit card you have any room left to shop. But I'd never trade it for the world.
And how long? How many years was that from when you started?
We started that in February of 1989, and we took it public in November of 1997. So. Wow. About 7-8 years, and then it sold to Nextel in 2000. So it was a fun ride, wild ride.
Wow.
Unbelievable entrepreneurial success story, Brett. All kidding aside,
thank you.
To go from one van to public sale, there's a lot of steps in between that you didn't cover. Would you care to talk about a little bit of that? I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are not just interested in people and technology, but how do you build a business like that? Especially from nothing.
Yeah, there's a lot of hurdles and a lot of barriers, and it's true when people say, if I would have known then what I know now, I probably wouldn't have done it. So I think there's some freedom and a little bit of ignorance, especially when you're 23 years old or 22 years old starting your first company with no line of sight to success. It's just pure blood and ambition and drive and excitement that you thrive off of to get you through these barriers that are seemingly impossible. One thing that happened to us 3 months in was we were too small to activate phones directly with Cellular One, that provider I mentioned. So we had to work with what's called a master agent. Well, we would turn all of our phones onto this master agent. He would then 60 days later get a commission check from the phone company, and then they would pay us. So we were cash strapped, and we counted on that check to come in. Well, he decided to go out of business, owing us a lot of money. And we were waiting for that money to pay our employees, to pay rent, to buy equipment so that we could sell, to advertise, all of those things. So the easy answer would have been, you know what, it's not fair what they did. It's not your fault. You gotta declare bankruptcy and come back to fight another day. And we decided not to do that. And we asked our employees to work for free, and we do whatever we can to help them through this hard time as we're crawling out of this hole. And we went to our vendors, and they knew what happened, and they gave us new credit to buy phones. And that impossible, precipice of failure turned out to be what led to our success, because we always were honest. We always communicated what was happening. We treated everyone and kept our word along the way. So that was my first kind of real big life lesson about business. Is very similar to how you should act as a person, just do what you say what you mean.
Authentic,
and then from
genuine,
there, then you go through fundraising, and you go through angel funding, and you go through bank debt, and you have some VC funding. All of those things lead up to the ultimate, which was taking the company public. And that was a lot of fun. There's a whole podcast we could do on that 30-city tour in 7 days, 5 cities a day, and having people tell you, they only sell hot dogs at a kiosk. Why are they going to buy phone? I mean, there's stories go on and on about that.
Okay, so what happens after the sale?
So I joined Nextel. We were their largest distribution point. So Nextel had no retail stores. We were their largest distributor. And so when they bought us, they had kind of this machine that was built with they bought about 250 of our 300 stores. The other 50 were sold to AT&T. So then I stayed on to run that growth, that expansion of those stores. So we opened another 700 stores in 3 years. A lot of fun doing that. And then I also ran the national retail division, which is where Nextel products were sold in Best Buy or Walmart or Target, fill in the blank. And what I noticed was that the more complicated the sale, the more prescriptive in nature a product was, the more difficult it was for any wireless service provider, any retailer to sell. So that was my DNA with our first company, Let's Talk Wireless, was how do you put a person in the right product that's right for them and the right rate plan that's right for them. That became the genesis. That was the kind of the core reason that T-ROC was formed in the first place. So when Sprint and Nextel merged, they offered me to stay in an executive job there, but I had to go scratch that entrepreneurial itch again, and T-ROC was formed originally in 2000, but really became active in 2007, January 2007.
How do you do all that, Brett? I mean, success, serial successes as an entrepreneur, executive at major company, and build a family. I know family is a huge importance in your life. You have a fantastic family.
Thank you,
How do you
thank you.
do that all at the same time?
Yeah, there's a whole lot of failures along the way. I mean, if there's, they always say that the road to success isn't the straight hockey stick line. It is a bumpy roller coaster. Looks like a heartbeat, where you're having these ebbs and flows and ups and downs along the way. And family is very important to me. Along the way, what I didn't mention was during that time, I also started a .com out in Silicon Valley.
Oh, a little, just a side thing, hustle,
And
right?
now this is 19, so I'm still chairman of Let's Talk Cellular, but I'm a founder of this company called letstalk.com, which shared the name early on for Bricks and Clicks, which now is omni-channel. Again, all these things kind of happened before our time. And so raised a whole bunch of money. I think we raised $22 million on a PowerPoint that I did on the way to Silicon Valley. And within 3 days, they were saying, don't leave without telling us that we get a piece of this raise. But I'd fly every Monday on the red eye. I'd fly every Monday morning from Miami at 5:30 and get to San Fran at 10:30, work until 10:30 or 11 at night. And then I'd do that all week and take the red eye back every Friday night so I could be home Saturday. And I had 2 girls at the time, and my wife was pregnant with our third. And we basically had to induce her so I would be home for the third childbirth. So there's sacrifice, and I have to give my wife
On
a
everybody's
whole
end,
lot of
right.
credit because she always supported. She wanted to move out there, and I said, no, it's not. Why move when we have my family, all your friends, all your support systems here, and you're going to move to San Francisco and you're going to be sitting in a hotel room or in an apartment while I'm working, the whole time. So it takes a village approach, and it was a lot of fun to do that, but I wouldn't do it again.
How many kids do you have now?
I have 3 girls.
3 girls. Ooh, girls.
And I was a
awesome.
nice guy growing up, too, man. I mean, a lot of pain.
I can laugh.
A lot of
'cause
drama.
I too have 3 girls, so
Right.
I get it.
Right.
I don't know what happened.
Well, you have a great family, too, man.
Thanks.
You do.
Thanks. It's fun to see the successes grow in both ways. It's great to hear these stories. Today, how did all of that lead to T-ROC? Right? I think that's
Yeah.
a question everybody, would love to hear you talk about.
Yeah, my personal philosophy doesn't mean it's one size fits all by any extreme or any extent, is I enjoy doing things from scratch. So I like there to be nothing there, and there's a napkin, and there's an idea, and there's a need you figure out, and you get the juices flowing, and it's really fun. And one of the most satisfying things about what I do as an entrepreneur is getting people together that all believe in the same vision and that all have their contribution and their freedom to do what they need to build success. And that's how T-ROC started. It was this notion that the harder the product to sell, the more prescriptive it is. There's a need out there for companies to help those big Fortune 50 companies sell their product at retail. So that was the genesis. And then through relationships, which is another major component of a successful enterprise, whether you're an entrepreneur or a business, is having strong, trusted relationships that you build along the way. And it's not something you get overnight, but every time you have an encounter, you, again, do what you say you're going to do it right, do it ethically. So our first projects were based on that kind of relationship. And as we grew, customers would say, wow, you do this really well. Do you do this too? Do you do mystery shopping? Sure, yeah, we do mystery shopping. Well, what do you need me to do? Well, no, we need to visit these 1,000 stores over the next 2 weeks, and we need to make sure that our stores are meeting the training, whatever the case may be. So, okay. And so then you have to go figure out how you're going to build a mystery shop department and find those people and execute that program. So it's organic growth, all organic. There's been no acquisitions with T-ROC, but it's always been adding services that complement the ecosystem of how to optimize your retail, e-tail channel strategy. And optimize it, meaning you never set it and forget it. You never put anything on autopilot. It has to be, you have to be looking over your shoulder every day. Something's coming up. I don't know what it is yet, but I got to be ready, which means I better optimize my own company and reinvent myself and disrupt my own business so that I can stay ahead of the curve, which is why this was a people company in the beginning, but it turned into a people and technology company because the combination of those, the connection between people and technology, if you really embrace it, is magic. That's where you see, compounding growth and compounding sales driving activities and cost reductions and efficiencies that lead to a successful and forward-thinking strategy.
Well, I mean, I can tell you from having hosted this podcast for the past couple of weeks, the people that I've been able to speak with, it seems like you have the special sauce on that. Like you really have everybody who said it. Brett called me. I had to come on board. Chris even, your buddy. All these amazing personalities, characters, with their exponential experience and what they're bringing to T-ROC, and that has a lot to do with you and that secret sauce of even when you went almost bankrupt and you still convinced those people to work for you for free and to give you the line of credit. So kudos to you for that,
well,
and for replicating that here at T-ROC.
Thank you, and I think I cherish except for Chris, everyone but Chris.
Oh God, here it goes.
Can't be perfect.
It's going off the rails now.
No, it sounds corny and it sounds fake, but I 100% am sincere about the quality of the people that we have at T-ROC. And that's why I said in the beginning, it's not me, it's these people are amazing people that do have great experience and that do have our values. They have our core values, and they might not work in another environment, just like people have come to T-ROC and it's just not a great fit for them because they don't have the belief systems that we do about, amazing your customers and making honesty and integrity win every time and always improving and embracing change and learning. And one of the most important ones is have fun and never take yourself
Not
too
taking
seriously.
yourself too seriously.
We
for
believe
sure,
that. Yeah, we live that. We're really good at that, by the way. And so, sometimes people come from large companies like Verizon or Comcast or AT&T or Best Buy or
Apple,
Walmart or Apple. Exactly. And it takes them a while to acclimate. They fit culturally. There's a good connection there already, but it's sometimes too good to be true almost. It's like, this is really how it is there? And yes, there's a long way to go, and we can never, assume that culture doesn't need to be nurtured and doesn't need to be nourished, and that every time a new T-ROCer comes in here, which we fondly call them, it's a new culture. There's a new opportunity to evolve the culture based on the experience and the diversity and all the things that new T-ROCer brings to the table. If we're not listening, we're not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Brett, I think that's an interesting thing. I think from a people perspective, and then we want to get into the technology side as well.
Sure.
But on the people side, I think of it at least as the services we're providing all the time from a T-ROC perspective. But what I hear you talking about is really more of an internal look first, right? About how do you attract quote unquote T-ROCers, right? How do you decide that is a T-ROCer or that isn't a T-ROCer? As a CEO of a company that's now a multinational company on its way to $1 billion plus in annual revenues, how do you qualify that?
Yeah, I think that in the very beginning when it was just me, I got to kind of hand pick who's the number 2 person, who's the number 3 person, who's the number 4. And what ends up happening is that if you really communicate your culture and you do what you live by it, you really are ethical, and you really do value your employees and you really do have fun and not take yourself too seriously, that it becomes contagious,
It
right?
permeates,
And the people,
yeah.
and it's like a
trickle
she
effect.
told someone, and then they told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends, and so the culture actually manages itself. And I don't want to use the word police, but I'll promise you, if someone tried to do something and take a shortcut, their peer is going to say, "What are you doing? I mean, what are you? What?" And it just morphs and becomes contagious, and it has a life of its own, way bigger than any individual, including me, here at T-ROC. So that's how that works. And if the hiring manager, whether that person be hiring for a Walmart, project or hiring for an assembly project, you want that manager to have as deep an understanding and a belief system in your culture and core values, so that when they're hiring someone that Chris might not ever meet with 10,000 W-2 T-ROCers and 20,000 gig workers, but you want to have confidence that T-ROCer, if you bumped into that person, assembling something in the back of a Home Depot, that it. You connect with that person and that they have that belief system. And It's wonderful to see. It's a very satisfying thing to see. In fact, Chris, I don't know if, you have your,
Man, are you serious?
so what I just did, T, is that,
No, I don't have it.
in one of our annual events, we had
So
a
good.
speaker that came in and we got this coin. You can see mine's worn, because I put mine in my pocket, unlike some people.
Okay.
But everyone from that meeting got one of these coins, and it was kind of just like a sign that we're engaged, we're together, and we're going to move forward. And we do this all the time. So now Chris owes me dinner and drinks because he doesn't have.
Oh, now it's
his
dinner
coin.
and
You were,
drinks.
Chris, you were
Not
set
just
up.
drinks.
Just
Oh, yeah.
FYI.
Yeah.
You told him to bring that today, didn't you, Kelsey? Leah keeps an extra one for him, I think. I think that's really what it is, but that's okay.
But to finish
That's
that
neat.
thought, when you then expand outside of the U.S. borders, think of how complicated and how important those core values and that culture translates into the different, cultures of the different countries that you're entering, and how does that play into this evolution of T-ROC as we grow? So it's a challenge.
I love that answer. I love being a part of it. So for me, it's an easy thing to connect with. Let's change course a little bit, if we can, over to the technology side of T-ROC and of the industry in general. You have several platforms today that you've built or T-ROC has
We
built
have.
organically,
Right.
How do you know which technologies are the right ones to go after and which ones aren't? And obviously the next question that comes after that will be, well, how do you see around the corner to what's next, right, on the technology front?
Yeah, it's there's not an easy answer to that. I feel like keeping your ears close to the ground to what's happening. Reverse mentoring is another huge practice that I personally have, which is asking a lot of questions from people who know the answers. So that happens to be in our world. If we have our T-Rockers on the front line talking to customers and seeing what is happening out there, what are they experiencing, what pain points do they have, if they could just have this type of solution, then they could be more productive and make more customers happy. That's where you be quiet and you let that young, upwardly mobile, smart, bright-eyed, big-smiled T-Rocker tell me what to do. So a lot of it's reverse mentoring, a lot of it's staying up on the trends, keeping your eyes open for problems that need to be solved, and then have fun solving problems. And our number one core value is be an entrepreneur every day. That means whatever office you're in, throughout the organization. So have fun solving problems. If you can make a practice of seeing something that's a pain in your butt and say, wow, how can I fix that? And let me bring that solution to someone who's going to listen to me and actually take action on it to help us fix that. It's empowering for everybody. Everyone feels satisfied. Everyone feels heard. Everyone feels valuable because that's what they are.
Certainly, the world faced a unique problem and challenge 18 months ago. You may have heard of it, maybe not.
2020 in general,
Right?
yeah.
In general, people faced a pandemic. Some call it COVID-19. Collaboration virtually has become, key in every workplace environment, it feels like, at least from my perspective. How do you see that translating into the consumer experience in retail? And, what are your thoughts on that?
I think we all were surprised by people like you and I who travel more than 200,000 miles a year and we're away from Miami,
Right.
120 nights a year, how effective we could be. We were one of the first to shut down our office, and we won't be the first to come back to the office. And we prepared for it, and we made sure that we could handle it from a technology perspective and had the tools in place necessary. And I was really amazed by how effective we were and are by utilizing today's technologies. Now, to translate that into what's the consumer seeing and feeling and how do they feel about live interactions, particularly 6 months ago or 12 months ago, stores were closed, or the stores that were open had limited people in the stores. So they didn't want to touch anything. They didn't want to be within a certain distance of someone, and when they were within 6 feet and they both had masks on, you didn't get that eye contact, the connection that you get when you have a live experience. So we created a technology that was in the works well before COVID came about, but COVID just accelerated it, and that's called VIBA. And VIBA stands for Virtual Interactive Brain Ambassador, and it's a technology that connects people with other people in a live environment without having to be in front of each other. So that I could be in a retail store looking at a exercise bike, for example, but I need more information like I would normally get from a rep standing in front of that counter, but I can get that same interaction by standing in front of a monitor, and that monitor turns into a live interactive engagement that allows me to ask whatever questions I want, see data being pushed to the screen, see comparisons on what's specifically right for that customer, and they can walk out the store feeling very safe and very comfortable. There's so many use cases for this. It's a great training tool. If you want to train your associates on how to work on that computer and just, hey, show me a video, go ahead and turn that around and show me what's happening. It's great for sales events. It's great for banking. It's great for auto industry and QR codes on TV commercials to be able to engage with a live person that's available right from your home on your kitchen table when you're watching TV after dinner, to turn that into a much more personal engagement and a great customer journey. Look, the world right now, and I hate to even use the word omnichannel because it's overused, but it is customer journey omnichannel. E-commerce and bricks and mortar are table stakes. One cannot survive without the other. Retail's dead. How come Amazon's opening stores? Retail's dead. How come Peloton's opening stores? How come Warby Parker's opening stores? Fill in the blank. How come Casper Mattress is opening doors? Why are we opening 30 or 40 Xfinity stores this year alone and have a queue of other companies that are looking for us to help them with their omni-channel presence? People want to buy when they want, how they want, where they want, whenever they want, right? And they want to feel like they can receive the product how they want, when they want, whenever they want. Do they want to have it delivered to their home? Do they want to have it delivered to their home and assembled while they're there? Do they want to be able to go to curbside and have someone put it in their trunk? Do they want to be able to have it ready for them inside the store? Everything is changing. Everyone's getting smarter. Technology like RFID and technologies like VIBA are forcing companies to rethink what does an omni-channel strategy look like and what is the next disruptive omni-channel way that customers are going to want to buy. We, by the way, think VIBA is that solution. It is the next gen. It's not a text bot on a website. It's not a phone call that you make. It's a live interaction with a live rep that's very experienced, that you can make sure they have all the training they need to make sure they're fulfilling their customers' needs. So.
I mean, I've been able to experience VIBA, and I think it's a much more robust sales tool than what you're even giving it credit for. Because even just a one-on-one, I walk up Best Buy, I'm looking at a 60-inch Samsung TV, but I get an opportunity to have on-demand content sent to me, warranty information immediately at my fingertips, and take it home with me, or just put it in my cart right from my phone, or have the live agent, put it in my cart, and get as much information as possible that I wouldn't have had otherwise if it was just one-on-one with a live person.
If you could find a live person,
right? If you
first,
can find a live person,
then you got to find a live person that really has been trained well and understands the product really, really well.
And how many products are in a store?
Exactly. And then to your point, I can see a video on how this works. I can see a comparison sheet. I can
the augmented reality portion. How difficult is that? How many times have we all bought something, taken it to our house, put it up, doesn't fit, take it back, schlep it back to the, it's just so efficient.
Right.
It's so efficient.
It's funny that we have a partnership and it's incorporated into our VIBA solution, this 3D augmented reality solution. And this one person said one of the ways they utilized it is they went to Harley Davidson and they took a picture of Harley Davidson through a 3D model and they placed it in their driveway. And then they texted the wife with a picture of it and said, honey, guess what? I just bought that Harley. What do you think? Well, the answer is, oh my God, why did you buy that Harley? Hey, just kidding. It vanishes. But if she says, I love it, guess what? He's going to go buy his Harley. But you can see the size of the barbecue on your patio. You can see what color the couch is going to look like and how big it's going to be in your family room. These are the things that are happening. And I'm telling you, with this, even with as the lines continue to blur between online and offline, inventory accuracy has to be so spot on. Because if someone does want to buy online and pick up at store BOPIS, you better have that product in the store. And it's a huge problem for the biggest retailers in the world, thinking they have accuracy and they don't. RFID gives them that accuracy. You have to have accurate inventory to the 97% plus range, or you're going to make a lot of customers really unhappy and choose to go somewhere else. And that's why you see collateral damage with retailers that are going out of business instead of recognizing that having bricks and mortar and e-commerce are their biggest assets. So again, you use the example, you're online, you think you want to buy that widget at Best Buy. And so Best Buy, when you're online, they say, yes, we have 3 at store number 123, right? You're counting on that being there, right? You buy it, you go to pick it up. No, we don't know where it is. Oh, you know what? I don't think we have that in stock. Now, it might be in the store, but it might be in the wrong place. It might be in the store, might be in the back warehouse. Maybe it's walked out the door. But by using RFID and having RFID tags on every single piece of merchandise and the ability to scan your inventory, and what used to take days or weeks to accomplish can now be done in an hour, you have that inventory accuracy. And it's required in order for you to succeed. How do we play? T-ROC is a platform. As we mentioned before, we started with People Solutions. We added, mystery shopping and merchandising and all kinds of services that our platform can support through the technology that we invest in. This is another way to leverage our platform. It's complementary to our merchandising division. It's complementary to our gig workforce when needed. It allows us to go and assess the situation for a retailer, really consult with them, understand what they're trying to accomplish. Then we have partnerships that allow us to take the right RFID reader and have the right tag and have the right reporting, and then go physically out and tag every single item in a store to get them where they are now ready for the future and ready to scale.
It's interesting to me, at least. We spend a lot of time on Vibo, rightfully so. Obviously, it's truly a game changer in the customer experience aspect. But in inventory management, as we see so many digitally native companies that are direct to consumer today that are only managing an inventory in a fixed warehouse situation,
Yep.
to now move into multiple national retail solutions that you're familiar with from your past, to me, inventory management is going to be
Mission critical.
Mission
Table stakes.
critical.
You're going to see retail stores shrink. So they don't need 25,000 feet because 80% of their sales come from, guess what, 20% of their product. So they can have still a one on display, but they're going to want to have in stock the 20% of the items that represent 80% of their sales, and the other items can be direct shipped right to your home the following day, or delivered that same afternoon, right? Or droned to you, or autonomous drivers will drop it off at your front door. All omni-channel solutions for delivery.
It's pretty amazing experience. So, Brett, thanks so much for going through all those questions with all of us
Man, I was
today.
just getting started.
But before we let you go,
Oh,
we
wait,
like
there's
to
more.
have
We do have
And
more.
there's more.
we like to have some fun questions for our guests. And so you're in the hot seat.
Uh-oh.
Ready? So, what is your superpower?
What is my
You can only
superpower?
choose one.
It's a big question.
I'm searching for one. I can only have one. You know what? I think you kind of touched on it earlier. I feel like I can kind of visualize or see what these problems are that need to be solved, and then have just this relentless drive to bring that solution to reality and then get it into the marketplace as quickly as possible. So
I think relationship building too is another one, just FYI.
thank you.
You can have it in your hip pocket for the next podcast. What's your kryptonite?
Too many shiny things. Yeah, I mean, you
Isn't that
have
for
to
everyone,
be.
kind of, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a distraction, and particularly for my history will show you that. Oh my God, we have to go do that. Well, stop doing that. Let's go do that instead of that, and you can get to a place where you have so many shiny things and nothing is getting accomplished. So
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly. So managing that attraction to the next best thing is really important. It's better to be really great at 5 or 10 things than be horrible at 20.
Right. In business, what do you value most?
You know, you said relationships, and that's absolutely by far what I enjoy most. Relationships with our T-ROCers, relationships with our customers, relationships with our vendors, with our bankers. That connection and that relationship that's trusted can help you survive the worst of the worst and the best of the best scenarios, and they can be destroyed. They're very fragile.
Very fragile.
So being able to connect quickly with people, being able to be a person of your word and deliver what you say, and you know, have great social conversations, and those last a lifetime. So that's probably the most enjoyable thing for me.
What do you most appreciate about what technology has brought to us?
Opportunities. You know, there are a lot of our competitors that say the same thing. You know, we have great people. We have great reporting. You know, we have great experience. And we have all those things, and they have all those things. But what they don't have is, first of all, you know, they don't own and operate their own stores. They're not really as connected to retail as we are. Environment. Our experience with our T-ROCers all come from that DNA as well. But we truly have 2 technology companies under the T-ROC umbrella. We have Mobile Insight that has patented software. We have 5 different software solutions for our customers that we've developed over the years based on that whole premise of how can we solve a problem, you know, have fun solving that problem. And we have an IT group that specializes in retail IT. So think of the future, think of RFID, right? Think of smart fixtures that recognize when you come into the store and they say, well, that's T. You know, last time she was here, she was looking for an exercise bike or for, you know, an aerobic mat, and she loves red, and, you know, maybe we can give her a discount on that today. So it's those 2 divisions. We really put our money where our mouth is. I can tell you, because we're a wholly owned company and we're not having to impress a venture capital firm at the moment or a PE firm at the moment. We are able to be completely free, and we're our own board of directors, and we are able to invest in the technologies that will lead us and make our customers happy in the future.
So neat. So this is my favorite one. If you could have created any innovation, idea, or technology that currently exists, what would you love to have been credited for creating?
The internet. I mean, you know, it's kind of
That's a good one.
It's kind of like the
Information
kind of like the
superhighway.
heartbeat, right? I mean, without the internet, what other technologies would have a way to be a technology? Right. So yeah, definitely the internet. But Al Gore did that. So.
And that's a great time to wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening. We're excited about the upcoming topics and now that we have to discuss here at the IPT podcast. And thanks to our sponsor, T-ROC. T-ROC is a retail branding and consulting partner that supports companies in navigating through today's retail shopping experience, redefining the power of people and technology. T-ROC offers a unique combination of people-based services, applications, technology management, mystery shopping and programs, actionable market research, and competitive insights that support the complex needs of assisted selling. T-ROC's expertise in next-generation technology is delivered by a team that's an all-in to drive sales, optimize performance, and deliver measurable ROI for businesses every single day. And you heard Brett talk about it. Visit trocglobal.com for more details and definitely to get more information on Viba. If you're a first-time listener and are enjoying what you hear, we ask you to subscribe and make sure to tune back for future episodes. Until then, we will see you at the intersection of people and technology.